Debt is either the most dangerous thing in your financial life or the most powerful tool you'll ever use. Today, I'm going to show you the difference with math, a whiteboard, and a genie who tried to sell Brent a loan. Welcome back to Like-Minded Arts. In the last video, we talked about why debt can feel scary. One reason is it never sleeps. But today, we're going deeper. We're talking about when debt is really bad, when it's good, and how to tell the difference. Let's start with the obvious. Debt can be dangerous, really dangerous, and most people get burned because they use debt for the wrong things. So here's the backstory. My wife, who's amazing and brilliant, decided to join me for some discussion about finance. When is debt actually bad? What kind of car do you like?
I'm embarrassed to say that. Is that silly?
No, it's not silly.
I don't know. Okay, don't ask me that question.
Okay, we won't talk about. What car would you think that somebody would really love to have that is not you?
Well, I don't know. I want a Volkswagen bus from the 70s, but this is the deal. It doesn't have a camera, it doesn't have heaters, it doesn't have air conditioning, so this is a tough question.
Okay, let's strike this. Okay, let's say that you could have, maybe you like sports cars, okay? And you could have any sports car you want, you're making decent money, but you don't have any money right now to spend. So you say, I want to take out a loan to buy this nice car. Maybe it's a Porsche. Maybe it's a Lambo. I know that a lot of people I've talked to about making money, they're like, ooh, if I listen to your advice, can I get a Lambo? And I'm like, well, yeah, but that probably isn't the best use of your money. Okay, so let's break this down. You could buy a Lambo. You could buy it on debt. All right, that is probably a terrible investment.
Blew my mind. How do you buy something on debt?
Okay, so you go to the car dealership,
Okay.
and he says, I don't know how much a Lambo costs. I've never been in the market for one. So let's say he charges you, or he wants to charge you $200,000 for this.
Okay.
And you're like, I have $50,000 in my bank account. He'll say, does he want to lose the sale? He gets paid on commission.
Oh, but it depends. If you can't pay for the car, then he doesn't really want
Oh, no, he don't care if you can pay for the car or not. So he wants to make a sale because if he makes a sale, he gets a handsome $10,000 check that he can put in his pocket. Okay? So all he cares about is the sale. He doesn't care if you can afford it or not. Okay? So what he's going to say is well, you might not have $200,000, but you have $50,000. You could use that as a down payment, which basically means you can pay for part of the car and we'll give you a loan to buy the rest of the car, but we're going to charge you 10% interest.
Okay.
So
that's what buying on debt means.
That means buying on debt. So you're basically going into debt $150,000, and if it's 10%, you're going to be spending an extra, what's 10% of $150,000? Math. $15,000. Yes. $15,000.
Leave me hanging.
Yeah. Oh, I just hit my lip when I did that. Like, going to give me a bloody lip here. All right, so you're going to be spending an extra $15,000 a year for the opportunity to have that loan, just so that you can have that fancy car. When you could have easily taken that $50,000 and bought a brand
Kia Sportage.
You could have
used.
A used Kia Sportage. That's what we did. Yeah. If the only thing your debt gives you is bragging rights, it's not an asset. It's a liability with leather seats. So we bought that. We did not buy that on debt. And
Product placement. Sorry, keep going. I just was.
Oh yeah, they should pay us for that, shouldn't they?
They should.
Okay.
I should get paid.
All right. If you're listening, Kia, we want some money.
They're not listening.
No, they're not. I don't know if anyone. I think we got like 2 listeners so far.
I think it's our sister-in-law.
It might be.
Okay. Anyway, continue.
Okay. We welcome all of you who are trying us out to subscribe and follow us. Another way that debt might be bad is if you're going into debt for status. And this is kind of the same idea as the Lambo. You know, you can have a car for utility, you can have a car for show. You can have a house for utility, you can have a house for show. Sometimes, though, we also get into consumer debt. You know, this is the credit card debt. And it's a little sneakier because maybe we don't see what we're doing, but maybe our brother-in-law or something is buying a lot of things. He's got a nice job, so he's got the boat. He's got nice toys. He's got the latest in pickleball accessories. I don't know. I don't play pickleball.
Big deal.
It is a big deal. But so you maybe feel like you need to buy a lot of these nice things just to keep up with them. All right? Yeah, and so you go out and you buy the nice pickleball paddles too, and maybe he buys a pickleball court, and you go put a basketball court or something in your house. I don't know. So there's a lot of things that we can do, little things that just we often buy to help us feel better about ourselves. And if we buy too much of those, even if they're like little $1 things, I remember one time I knew a guy who he worked for the credit card companies, and he was always seeing people get into debt way over their heads, and he would work with them to figure out how can we get you out of debt. And as he analyzed their spending, do you know what the one thing was that was pushing them over?
Consumerism?
No, Redbox.
What?
Maybe some of you aren't going to know what Redbox is by the time you're listening to this, but Redbox, you could get a DVD for $1 a night, okay?
But then if you forgot to turn it in.
No, they would turn it in.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing. They said, it's only $1. I can afford $1.
It's true.
And they kept spending $1, not just on Redbox, but on a lot of other things. But Redbox was one of the big things that they were spending those dollars on. And little dollars add up to a lot of dollars. We know this from personal experience because we built a house and we said, that only costs a few bucks more, let's do that. And then our house ended up costing way too much. Okay? So it happens. It's psychological. It's hard to avoid. So debt can be terrible if you're not responsible. And, how do you be responsible? Maybe put together a budget, know where the money's coming in, where it's going out. Consumer debt is sneaky because it is small, but small leaks sink big ships. If it doesn't put money back in your pocket, most likely it's going to be bad debt. Yeah, it's kind of like when I went really sideways with debt.
Oh, he may be there. Congratulations, you've been approved for a loan of $30,000 at a smoking rate of $19.95. What the? A loan? I came here for a wrench. But with this loan, you could buy 10,000 wrenches.
Wrenches. Amateur. See, leverage can multiply your results, but it can also multiply your mistakes. But let's talk about when debt can actually be good.
Okay.
All right. When can debt be good, Colette? Any ideas?
When you have an investment.
Debt can be good, but it can also be bad for investments. So let's talk about kind of the both ends of that. A debt or investment is good if the investment cash flows. I just threw out some terms to you. Okay, let's break this down. Okay. All right, let's go to the drawing board, okay? By the way, I have these on my drawing board. Okay, don't forget to check out my books. This one is already out, One for the Money, Two for the Soul, and this other one, Hard Boiled Cabbage, that one is coming out in March. So you have an investment, say you need to take out a 5% loan, okay? Say that this investment is $100,000, okay? What is 5% of $100,000?
5,000.
5,000. Okay. Perfect. So that is how much money you are losing to the bank,
Ouch.
right? So every year you lose that much money. Now let's say that you have an investment that is also $100,000. Now, if this investment made you 10%, that is $10,000 that you're making. That is a plus sign. Your net gain or loss would be what?
Oh, 5.
10,000 minus 5. You make $5,000, okay? Now, what if your return is not 10,000 or 10%, but say it's 4%?
A little less than 5K.
You make $4,000, okay?
I am so smart. That's San Martin.
Okay, so now you end up, instead of a positive 5,000, you are losing 1,000. Debt is obviously bad if you have negative cash flow, but it's great if you have positive cash flow.
Mm-hmm.
So this is your cash flow. It is what you make after the expenses are taken away from the profits. So in one case you have positive cash flow, in one instance you have negative cash flow. If you can make positive cash flow, then debt is good. If all you can make is negative cash flow, debt is a terrible idea.
Red.
Red. This is the heart of it. Debt is good when your return is higher than your interest. Debt is bad when your return is lower than your interest. Let the math decide. Yes, math is the adult in the room. Sometimes investing is risky.
I feel like an idiot. Sorry, keep going.
No, you're great. Because this is, we're trying to help other people understand this who don't know. A lot of this is basic. I'm a finance guy. I majored in finance. I got my MBA, and I've studied this for years and years, right?
Toity.
Look at me. I should have worn my top hat or maybe my graduation stuff.
Like when he graduated, I wanted to call him Master Brent.
Master Brent. This should be the name of the show. Master Brent speaks on finance.
No, I think it should be Rent. That's what I've always wanted to call him.
That sounds like I should be wasting my money though on like big gold chains and
That's not a waste
initials.
of money.
Be rent, yo.
Keep going.
Okay. Why would we even want to go into this debt to do an investment? So debt is like a lever. Do you guys remember basic elementary physics?
Nobody took physics in elementary school. Oh, you mean
but
just
they
like
still teach you-
elementary physics, not elementary school.
Let's think
Okay.
playground. You remember the teeter-totters? Do they still make teeter-totters, or are those too dangerous for kids
They're
now?
too dangerous.
They're too dangerous for kids. Okay, but you know what a teeter-totter is, right? So if you stick a
Okay,
lever...
some new parks have them. Okay, I remember.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah. So
fulcrum,
fulcrum.
lever.
Okay, so we're going back to the drawing sheet.
Dee.
Okay, so let's draw a fulcrum here. I'm gonna change to green now. Say you have a big hunking rock. That's an ugly rock, okay. All right, you want to move the rock, so you stick a stick under it.
Stick under it.
And the longer that stick is, the more likely you are to do this. So you push down on the stick, and what happens? The rock goes up, okay? That's the basic idea of a lever. Debt is like a lever, okay? At least good debt is like a lever. So you need to pick up an investment that you can't afford on your own. You've only got $10,000, and you need to buy a property that costs $100,000. But this property will generate that 10% return that we found up here, right? Now, if you only have $10,000, can you buy that?
Well, it would even you out, right? Because if it's 10,000 and then you get 10,000 return.
Yeah, but if you say you needed to start out with $10,000, you don't have it. Your 10,000. I mean, you need 100,000, but you only have 10,000. It's like the car scenario. You can't buy the car unless you go into debt.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So the whole idea is that debt can help you lift that big $100,000 mountain so that you can start earning that 10% return. You might lose 5% to the bank, but you'll gain 10% here, and in the end, you'll net $5,000. Okay? So debt is like a lever, but also there's another aspect of it. Say you could get into that same investment. Say that there's some kind of a mutual fund or some kind of just an investment in general that returns 10%. And if you do it with what you've got here, you make $1,000. Whereas here, you will make $10,000.
Wait, stop.
Okay.
What are you telling me?
Okay, so we talked.
Let me say it in my own words.
Please.
Okay. So, you only have $10,000.
Yes.
You want a $100,000 loan. No,
Right.
$90,000 loan.
Okay, so we are moving on from there now. Okay, so before we were treating this $10,000 like, say it was a building.
Yeah.
You were investing in some kind of a building that you could get rent on.
Yeah.
You can't buy a $10,000 or $100,000 building with just $10,000. So you need the debt to buy that, right?
Right.
Now let's say that you find a whole bunch of little storage sheds. Okay?
No.
Yep, you find a whole bunch of these, and each one costs $10,000 to invest in.
Like Monopoly.
Yep, you get the same 10% return, but now you don't need a full $100,000. You could just pick up one of them for your $10,000. Okay, so you don't need this anymore. Okay, you don't need it. You can invest with $10,000.
Okay, so you changed your mind?
No, this is a different scenario.
Oh. Oh my goodness, I'm laughing. Sorry, I'm crying. Okay,
Okay,
I get it.
you don't get it?
Because I'm stuck on this. We're in a different scenario. What do you mean?
We're in a different scenario, but similar. Okay, so for the $100,000 scenario, we wanted to buy a house and rent it out, right? We could only buy it if we had $100,000. You want something to wipe your eyes with?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, mine's polyester. Oh, look, you can flex for the camera.
Not much in there. I've been bedridden for the last year.
It's got a shirt on. It's covering it. Anyway.
All right. So there's two. We're looking at two different investments now. So we've got a house that costs 10. Or now I'm getting all mixed up.
What is happening?
Okay. Zen. Okay. We have a house that cost $100,000.
Okay.
We
that
can
we want to buy for ourselves?
that we want to buy to rent out because
Okay.
it's an investment.
That's what I thought.
Okay. So we need $100,000 if we're going to invest in that. And right now we only have $10,000.
Right.
But let's say we walk down the street and we find a guy who's got a whole bunch of sheds.
Yes.
And he's saying each one of these sheds costs $10,000.
Uh-huh.
You could just buy one of these.
That's what I mean. So we decide not to get the house.
Exactly.
That's what I said! That's what I said!
Okay, yeah, so we decide not to get the house. We get one of these $10,000 sheds instead. It still makes 10%.
Yeah.
So 10% of $10,000 is $1,000. But if you remember right, the house, if 10% of $100,000 was $10,000. Let's go back to our drawing board and look at this here. Okay, so if we were to do the house, we'd make $10,000 minus the $5,000 interest that the bank gets, right?
Okay.
So we end up
You
with...
did not say that they get that interest from the beginning. You did
Oh.
here, but not here.
Okay,
Anyway,
but
continue.
you always got to pay the piper. So you net $5,000. But if we just invested this $10,000 in that shed, we have minus $0 because we're not paying the bank. We already had that $10,000.
Right.
So our net gain is $1,000.
That's not as good.
No debt, but not as good of a return.
Wow.
So that is how debt can be a lever. It helps us get more than we could have before. Okay? So that is when debt is a really good thing. Good debt is simple. If the thing you're buying makes more money than the debt costs, that's good debt. Like rental property. Exactly. Or a business, or equipment, or anything that produces income. All right, so debt is neutral. It's like a hammer. It can be used for good, or it can be used to smash your finger. All right, so how do we use debt safely? Let's think about this. A car, if you have to go into debt for a car, is that good debt or bad debt? And this is a tricky one.
It's inevitable. I shouldn't say it's inevitable. Sometimes you might not be in debt.
For a lot of us, we need to go into debt to get a car. But there are alternatives to cars, and we have to weigh that a little bit. But if you think about it, a car, unless you're using it for business, is something that's always going to be taking money away from your personal wealth. Okay? Not only does it depreciate in value, goes down in value, but it also has an interest payment on it if you have a loan on it. So cars are notoriously bad investments. Therefore, I would consider it a liability. But in many cases, a car can be very helpful. Maybe we need it for our job, and maybe the utility we get from that outweighs the cost of owning the car. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yes, I was just thinking, in my bad investments equal liability.
Bad investments
And then I thought to
equal
myself,
liability.
what is a liability?
What is a liability? There are two schools of thought on this, and a liability, and we'll dive into this deeper. If you look at the accounting method, a liability is something you owe. An asset is something you own. Okay?
Okay.
Some assets have value, liabilities take away value. If you look at it in the Robert Kiyosaki sort of way of thinking of things, he's the guy who wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad, then an asset is something that creates value, and a liability is something that takes value away. Okay? So in this case, we're talking about a car being a liability in that it takes value away. But the loan on it is both a liability that takes something away, and it's also an accounting liability, something that you owe. Yeah, so if you need a car, and a lot of us need a car. Some people live in places where you don't need cars, big cities, New York, things like that. You can get by without cars. But if you need a car, then try not to go into debt for it, you know? But if you do go into debt, just understand what you're getting into. It's a liability. Sucks. Literally. Okay, so an asset, on the other hand, that's where we look at our investments. An investment that brings in money is an asset. But if it was one of those ones like our earlier example where it made us lose money, then it becomes more of a liability. I have a liability right now.
Me.
No, not you.
It's me.
I have an airplane.
Oh.
This airplane, I have absolutely no debt on it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But it's still a liability because every year I have to pay insurance on it. I have to pay maintenance costs on it. I have to pay rental on it to keep it parked at the airport. And I don't get any value out of this airplane. It is purely for fun.
You sound kind of like a hypocrite about the Lamborghini.
I
Now
am.
you're telling everyone
But here's the thing.
you own an airplane.
Here's the thing. I am selling my airplane this year.
And it's an old airplane.
It's an old airplane.
It's cute.
It's cute, but it's fun.
Piper.
But I am, or Piper Arrow.
Piper
Piper.
Arrow.
but I'm getting rid of it because it is not contributing to my overall financial goals. Okay? So sometimes we need to look at our lives and figure out if there are things that are acting more like an asset or if there are things that are acting more like a liability, and get rid of the liabilities and increase the assets. Listen carefully, human. Debt is a sharp tool. Hold it by the handle and you build an empire. Grab it by the wrong end and you lose your fingers. Okay, true. Course it is. Profit is simple. If your investment earns more than your debt costs, you win. If it earns less, you become someone else's profit. By the way, if you want to catch the whole discussion that me and my wife had, run on over to my podcast. You can find it at lightmindedarts.com or wherever you get your podcasts, and you can check out the entire thing there. We didn't have time to put it all in this video.